Hello, everybody. It's Nikki and John, aka Starseed and JB, and we are coming at you tonight with some talking to ourselves, even about authenticity and pureness of heart. As you know, everything we say is usually just us talking to ourselves and reminding ourselves. And so if we can see this in others, we can see it in ourselves. If we can feel it in others, we can feel it in ourselves. So we are not claiming perfection on anything. We are not claiming superiority on anything. We are you and you are us. And here we go. Let's have a conversation.
We are here to call all of us on our bullshit.
Yes.
Including ourselves.
Yeah. So there is a matter at hand with light workers, star seeds, 144,000, twin flames,
rainbow warriors,
whatever it is you wish to call yourself, whatever label you wish to give yourself, or however you wish to classify yourself. The bottom line is it all means mission. It all means a life of purpose. It all means we are here to wake up people and heal humanity and bring them into unity, bring them into authentic expression. And that's not something we can do unless we are embodying it and being a living example of it. So I'm going to start with something really basic that's going to call out a whole lot of you. Especially on social media, there's a habit of saying that you're sending prayers or that you're sending love and light or wishing someone the best, whatever it is. These are common expressions and terms used quite often. And let's be honest, there's a lot of you that have been saying this that are saying some bullshit.
And there's a lot of times that we're saying something that we don't quite really mean or fully embody the energy of. And that's not authentic.
And here's the thing. We've heard if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Stop saying you're sending prayers. Stop saying you're sending love and light when you're not. Just typing it does not mean it. Just because you're saying it doesn't make it true unless you actually take a moment to say that prayer. And you can reference back our video of what powerful prayers are, strong prayers are, authentic prayers are. But this pureness of heart that's needed to actually send love and send light to another is something we actually embody. There is a sickness in our community, I'll call it, where many are working jobs that no longer serve them nor humanity. This is not authentic. This is you feeding the system still. You're feeding and slaving away for the very monster you've labeled yourself as being here to defeat. The monster we're trying to heal.
And there are no excuses because the excuses are also the monster.
Exactly. Exactly. The fear that comes behind someone that wants to keep a job that barely helps them pay the bills and still is supporting a corporation that is a part of the slaughter of millions of animals a day, schlepping meat around to people that are consuming it and becoming, more and more obese and more sick, fat, and dead, as they call it. Sick, fat, and dying is what they call it.
While feeling full of misery, sadness, and frustration, and telling everyone, I'm sending you love and light.
You can't do that. It doesn't work like that.
You don't have it if you're not already expressing and living authentically.
And yes, we all have light in our hearts, but if you're not filling your own well first with that love and light, living a life of purpose, living a life of meaning and mission, if you're not already embodying that, then understand that it's not authentic when you're trying to drain yourself of what's left to give to others. There are some people we work with that are really authentic and are really freaking doing it. and are manifesting abundance and sharing it with others and everything else. But, Anthony Robbins came out with a documentary recently called I Am Not Your Guru. Reminded me quite a bit of Krishnamurti.
And you should all watch it too, because it's
you
great.
You really should. One of the points he makes that is completely valid, and it was just reaffirming something in my mind that I had said a lot to a lot of people that argued me, and at the time I was insecure enough to let this, stop me from preaching it. And I'm really just using him as a permission slip to say it again, which is, the moment you realize something is not in your best interest, the moment you realize something is wrong in your life, the moment you realize there is something more out there for you is the moment you change it. The moment you have the realization that the relationship you're in is not the highest iteration of love, is no longer serving, you are wasting everybody's time staying in it. And we've said that before. The moment you realize your job is not of service to humanity and is not fulfilling anything in you except some fear that it's temporarily satiating, a fear of lack or a fear of not good enough if I don't have a job, any of those fears that it's satiating, it's time to quit that job. That's the bottom line. There are thousands of conscious companies now. There are thousands upon thousands of conscious causes, conscious organizations, conscious communities to be a part of that will accelerate your healing and growth and immediately take you quantum leaps towards more authentic expression.
And here's the good news. These companies all use the same technology, the same skills, the same things that you've been doing and learned for companies that aren't in alignment.
In other words, if you've been doing sales, you can do sales for a conscious company that's moving a conscious product. If you've been working in a kitchen, you can work in a kitchen for a conscious organization that's making healthy food and maybe has a cause that serves in a more conscious way. Regardless, anything you are holding any longer that is not authentic, is not pure of heart, is false. And when you hold on to falseness, it makes you a liar. And I'll tell you what, liars are not starseeds. Liars are not light workers. Liars are not the 144,000. And liars are not twin flames. Now there's liars hiding among us. They're false. The lies and the falseness, that is inauthentic. These same liars will become what they profess to be. The intention some of you are setting by saying, I am a light worker, that's only an intention. You aren't really a light worker if you're holding racism in your heart. You aren't really a light worker if you're still holding fear in your heart of anyone or anything. We are here to love all of it. Love it compassionately, because love is the only truth, and it's what will transform and heal this world and everything within it. There's no more destruction necessary. The apocalypse never meant destruction in the first place. The very word apocalypse that was originally put in the Bible and other holy books literally means awakening, revelation.
So in the past, we've dealt with problems through conflict, almost all of us. And what it's going to take in order to solve the problems we have here is not to fight the problem, but rather to love the problem. That's where transformation can happen, is to put love and positive energy and action towards what is a good change from where we are.
Absolutely. And it's about keeping that vision of where we wish to go. So it's time to become authentic and pure of heart. It's time to start saying your prayers right. It's time to start speaking from a place of love as opposed to a place of fear. And I'll tell you something, if you are warning another about something with fear-based anything in it, it's not love. That's not light. It's one thing to speak to somebody and say, what you are doing is killing yourself. If somebody's, let's say, lost in drug addiction or alcoholism or incessant worrying or literally working themselves to the bone. But recently, when we were celebrating the joyous moment of our conviction to leave the country and go create the Peace Legacy Institute, there was a comment, I'm going to call it out right now. There was a comment on that with somebody, Greece is falling apart, everything's horrible, blah, 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 you better have all this money and da-da-da-da-da. I'm calling this person out right now because I love her. And the truth of the matter is, that's fear.
That
fear,
is
fear,
not
fear.
love and light.
It's not love and light. And it's not sending someone blessings. You're now in the field of awareness that's sending them negative energy, not just from the message, but you're pushing that into the co-creative manifestation of what's happening. And again, if you're saying sending prayer, sending love and light, and you don't mean it, again, you're not a light worker. You're not spiritual. You're not conscious when you're still doing that. Well, let me rephrase that. You can be spiritual and still honor your own shadow and be working through those things.
But you would be doing so authentically. And here's the thing. I want to offer something to all of you liars, to all of you fakers, because I've been one too. We can change. We can change the moment we're willing to accept that it's a false coat we're trying to paint on and pretend, because truly, we just want everyone to love us. But we can actually become it. We can become it by a commitment to being authentic, to not saying, I'm sending love and light, unless we really mean that. We can say, I don't really have a good response, or I am not in a good place right now. And here's the thing. When we're open and authentic with each other, instead of painting a false coat of light over everything, you know what can actually happen now? Healing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we're open and honest with each other and say, this is where I'm at, or this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm experiencing, instead of waiting until we're absolutely exploding at the seams from hiding it and faking love and light all day, then we can actually show up for each other and be healing for each other.
Absolutely. And so more than anything, what Spirit was nudging me to speak to are these different forms of inauthentic expression. And there's some people that are going to say, oh, well, you're being judgmental. There's a difference between judgment and discernment. Okay? We can call out a wolf in sheep's clothing without being judgmental. We can look at something and say that tree is sick, as opposed to that tree is healthy, without calling it judgment. All right. Judgment is something entirely different than discernment, which is something we have been asked to use at this moment in time to flush out all that is false, so that we can shine a light on that darkness. And this is another point I'm about to make. One of the most inauthentic expressions is to believe that you yourself are conscious and spiritual enough because you're vegan and you do yoga and you meditate in your little circle of crystals. Okay? That's not unity. Unity feels the oneness of all of us here. The fact that each of us is an emanation of source. And if one is suffering, all are suffering. If you find yourself feeling perfectly happy in your life with no desire to step out of your crystal circle of meditation, leave the yoga studio and put down your carrots and go take some food to the hungry, or go sit and sing with the people who are lonely, or go and offer healing to those who can't aren't even familiar with Reiki or energy healing in children's hospitals or hospices, or if you're not assisting something that brings your light into the darkness, you're not there yet. It's inauthentic to believe that, and it is one of the very useful tools of deception that was planted into the spiritual and conscious community A lot of us have been spiritual, but we have not been conscious. And now that we are coming awake, we are saying, wow, I can take all of this spirituality and use it consciously. And what all of that wisdom I was received was for, I turn that wisdom into knowledge and take that knowledge and make it into a purpose and a mission. And that's what you're actually here to do. That's why you incarnated into a body. If you were meant to just meditate and send love and light and feel zen, you
don't
would
need a
not
body for
have
that.
incarnated in a body. And there are many light beings around us, I assure you. But if that is your only purpose here, let me restate that. If you believe that is your only purpose here, you're wrong. And you are still a part of the problem. At minimum, you've only come to a place of neutrality. You're not helping with the shift. You're simply sitting there and saying, well, I'm not going to contribute anymore by, voluntarily eating the slaughtered animals, and I'm not going to litter anymore. I'll pick up my moop and I'll go to my transformational festivals and I'll dance with the elders and I'll, rah, rah, rah at the main stage when the EDM bands get up there and all of this. But at the end, and go to your cacao ceremony and your morning yoga and everything else. That's great. But what are you doing for your brothers and sisters? Get authentic, get real, do something that not only offers for your brothers and sisters that are on the same wavelength as you, whether it's your Reiki or your nutritional classes or your meditation courses or your law of attraction or whatever it is. We all have something to give our fellow light workers and star seeds and twin flames and so forth. But there's a way in which you take that light out into the darkness for those who have lost their way. For those, like Gandhi said, for some people, God can only show himself through a piece of bread. Now, understand that we speak about this a lot because 83% of the planet is currently living in poverty. And somebody asked me today, is that what all twin flames are supposed to focus on for their mission, is poverty? Won't that make us impoverished?
I think until there are no more hungry, it is what every human who has any capacity to help should focus on. We started out with 6 extra burritos.
And I'll say this, I don't believe that the same way that everybody's supposed to focus on it. Just notice it's a big problem. Just understand that it's a big problem. 83% of the planet is considered living in poverty. Most, basically, the majority of humanity does not have all of these 3 things: clean water, a bed, food, and clothes. Most people on the planet do not have those things right there. Did I say 3 things or 4 things? Because I think I said 3 things and then I pointed out 4 things. But understand that the majority of the planet does not have all of that. So it is a big emphasis. It is something that we're here to look at, but we can do that through conscious capitalism. We can do that through supporting donations who are actually serving the underserved populations and so forth. It does have to be a pretty big emphasis. It is the largest problem on the planet. Understand that 80% of the forests are gone. There's our next biggest problem. The more people that are fed and hydrated and sleeping comfortably and thriving, the more people we have to plant trees again on the planet and reestablish the forests and the rainforests, the jungles, all of it that have been cut down by these corporations. There's a lot of things that we are here to focus on, which is the social justice issues. You can't tell me that what the government is doing is okay and that you're all right with it. But the reason it's taken over the way it has is because of how many people have simply accepted the story that the government is here to serve you and it's for the people, by the people. The part we forgot was by the people. And wherever you are in the world, you have the ability to start speaking up. You have the ability to start making a difference every single day. It's time to move. It's time to use this body and this mouth that you incarnated with to make an actual difference.
And here's the thing. It may not be everybody's mission to work full time towards feeding those hungry. But if you know what your mission is and you're working on it, you won't feel guilty that you're not doing that, because you'll know you're on mission and doing what you're supposed to do. And that's fine. If you don't know what your mission is, do something.
And that's what we're here to say about authentic expression. Partially what we're here to say about authentic expression. If you're still going to use fear as an excuse to hold on to the job that no longer serves you, start doing something, whatever it is. One of the initiatives that we're working on right now is an hour a day, and it's taking an hour a day to think outside of yourself and think in a bigger picture, let's say, doing something for others, taking an hour a day to do something different. But understand that wherever you are, regardless of your circumstances, again, there's a trillion limited beliefs that have been implanted into us. I'm disabled, or I don't have enough money, or I have kids, or I mean, like the excuses are endless for why people aren't making a difference in the world. But let me say, you actually can be an activist strictly online, even if you're bedridden. No joke. If you're watching this video and you have access to the internet, you can start making your own inspirational videos to inspire others. You can start sharing, alternative news. Like, understand that there were media blackouts on the pipeline things that were going on recently, and it was because of the alternative news and people spreading awareness through social media that anything was even brought forth to the public that is now making a huge difference. So, you have kids, great. Take your kids to the park and teach them how to pick up litter. Take your kids to an animal shelter and teach them how to be compassionate and loving towards animals. Take your kids to a children's hospital, to the cancer ward, and have them sing songs and play board games. You can make light workers out of them too. Kids are not an excuse. Was there something you wanted to add? Oh,
No.
When you tapped me, I thought you were trying to say something. So again,
kids are the reason that we should be. If you have children, your children should go right now in this moment from being the excuse you have for not making a difference to the reason that you are going to find the time and find the expression to make a difference.
This is their world. This is their world that they're inheriting. Do you understand that your children should be the motivation? That's what we're here to do as parents, is give our kids a better life than we've had, right? That's what we're all striving for.
So children are a burden and the reason I can't be making a bigger difference in the world, or children are the motivation and the reason that I need to show that this can be done and can work. Pick one, because that's what you're doing. Whatever you're saying or projecting and blah, 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 love and light, you're teaching your children one or the other.
And the thing is that, I know so many women out there that are single moms making a difference with their children. Shout out to Michelle Linares, who's been taking her kids to pass out jackets and food and work in food banks and everything else with her kids. She's doing amazing things with her children. They are already change makers in the world. They are already truth speakers with their peers. They are already safe space for those that are being bullied or abused and so forth. So you can make your children a force to be reckoned with in this world. You can raise them to be that. You can set that example. And children have their own free will and their paths and all of that. So I'm not saying you have to force them, but understand that most children, when given the option, will choose it. And you're here to raise them right. And raising them right means setting a good example. If you're doing this through simply living off the system, or living or working a job that does not serve, and coming home tired, and making them just get their homework from their conformist schools. You've got to do something to balance it out. Teach them to do something good. Lead them by example. Find your passion, find your purpose, find your gift that you're here to use as a means of manifesting abundance, and find the gift you have to give that takes your light into the dark. Start saying your prayers with powerful intention. And again, you can refer to our video on prayer and how to pray right, because yes, a lot of us have been praying wrong, and then we sit around wondering why our prayers aren't being answered for ourselves or for humanity. Humanity needs to pray right now. It's time to be putting that energy into it. It's no secret anymore. All of this is just energy. It's just a holographic reality that we're manifesting into a projected hologram. So understand that it's time to take control of that and stop being a victim. There's another thing that's inauthentic, to claim that you are a victim. You are God. I am God. He is God. There is nobody here that is not God. We all emanated from the same source. We all emanated from the same light. We have all been asked by Christ to become Christ and to embody that within. If you are a victim or a martyr, you're wrong. If you are being that and embodying that, you've done it wrong, because Christ means love. And yes, when there was just one out there trying to spread that message,
didn't work out so great for him.
It didn't. But that's why there's so many of us now. And he told Judas this in the vineyards, in the book of Thomas, which they didn't include in the Bible because it's too empowering, that there would be a future generation, that there would be another group of beings that would come.
144,000.
144,000. This number comes up in a lot of prophecies. Even in the Quran, in the Quran they speak of the time of many messengers, the Buddha, the age of thousands of Buddhas, and so forth. So this has been a prophecy. The apocalypse is the awakening. Wake up. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to others. It is time to become authentic in all ways. Your work, your healing that you are here to do is on yourself first and foremost. We've been working through it. We have been deeply working in the realms of fear of lack. But we have still somehow been able to rise above that and keep stepping forward full time on our mission, and continue to feed the hungry, continue to design and create programs that help many instead of just a few. We've got the Universal Inspiration Project out there. We're working on founding the Peace Legacy Institute. We've got a lot going on, and it's not because we decided to keep a job that no longer served us.
Do you know how many people actually tried to tell us to get jobs?
Oh, it happens all the time.
I'll tell you, it's about 144,000.
We've had so many people tell us, you should charge for what you do. You're worthy of abundance. Okay, I'll tell you what. I understand that many people have a service to offer that they charge money for. And we do. We have a service we offer that people can donate towards, because we're shattering the illusion of lack. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that charges money for their gift is in fear of lack. But what I will say is, for us, the way we operate, everything we do is on a donation basis. We have an established free church, which is not religious. That's just a legal term more than anything, to carry forth our omni-denominational ministry, which is more about action than anything else. Yes, we come preaching to you today for a little while, but the majority of our work every day is in assistance to those less fortunate, or those simply needing comfort. I mean, as ministers, we've offered about 2 hours of prayers today. And I mean, we actually speak the prayers, guys. When somebody asks us to pray for them, we do pray. We don't just say sending prayers in love and light. We speak the prayer, and we send them the recording of that so that they can listen to it over and over again.
Feel it in our heart.
Exactly. That's the way to pray. That's authentic. That's showing you mean it. That's doing it. Okay? So again, authentic expression, pureness of heart and action. Any remaining aspects of illusions of separateness, illusions of lack, illusions of any kind, let them go. They're not serving you. We are one. We are infinite. We are powerful and capable. And we have had many people that have come to teach us and show us the way, regardless of what our age, race, economic status, geographic location is, any of that. It does not matter. You are here to be a hero to this world. And I know this is resonating in the hearts of many of you. I am curious to see how many will actually take the steps forward now to commit to it, because it's time. Our planet is dying. 83% of the planet is going to sleep hungry. Children are dying of starvation every single day. The corporations are ruling everything. It's time to stop that. And this isn't coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of saying, hey, that's what's happening in the world today. The pharmaceutical company now wants to buy Monsanto. So now one corporation, one monopoly will poison your food and then sell you the cancer medication. Do you see the irony here? It's time to get together in unity. It's time to start asking yourself right now, what can we all agree on right now? What agreements can we make with each other? What agreements can we make with ourselves? What commitments? I keep seeing our camera freeze. I'm not sure if it's actually recording or not when it does that.
We'll find out.
Well, that's why I keep kind of like pausing or repeating myself. But
so, Christ up, Lucifer. Quit your crying, Lilith. Wise up, Sophia. The divinity that is here to rescue you is you and me and her and all of us. There's no one else coming. We have to do
We're
this.
There's no horse coming out of the sky with angels on them, okay? That was completely figurative. I saw a video of a brother today that said exactly what I've been trying to put into words. Those 7 seals in the book of Revelation, the 7 seals in the book of Revelation, that is the chakras opening up, bam, moving from bottom to top. You're awake, you're open, you're aware, you're conscious, you're spiritual. You already are. I'm casting a spell on you right now. Do you feel it? It's time to go. You came here in this body, regardless of what it is limited by, whether you have 1 arm or 20 arms, or you can't use the bottom half of your body, or you don't have a voice, or you're blind. It doesn't matter who you are. You still have the ability to make a difference, and it's time to do it now.
Find the nearest phone booth. Step inside.
Pull
off your disguise and be it and do it, and don't fake it. Be real. Be authentic. Don't be a victim.
And
because
purify
martyrdom.
your hearts. Stop judging others. Come on, stop it. Stop it. These are your brothers and sisters. Knock it off. Stop talking crap on each other. Stop putting each other down. Whether you're doing it in your head, or you're doing it on social media, or you're doing it in public, if you're still talking shit on others, that says more about you than it does them. If you are still judging another or fearing another because of the color of their skin, that says more about you than it does them.
Or the name they call God.
Exactly. The name they call God. Who fucking cares what somebody calls God? We're all pointing to the same source. We're all speaking of the same place where we all came from. People call the toilet different things. Call it a John, they call it a Lou, they call it whatever. There's a million different names for toilet. We're not going to war with each other because of what we choose to call the shitter. Stop worrying about the name anybody's giving God and just move forward, embrace them and say, I love God too. I love Allah too. I love Yahweh too. I love Jehovah too. I love Krishna too. I love Shiva too. You're one. We came from one. We are one, and we're going back to one. You are divine royalty. Act like it. If you're going to claim to be divine royalty, fucking be it and quit talking about it. The time for talking is over. The time for doing is now. Now. As soon as you hear this and you felt that in your heart, you're like, oh shit, Nikki's got some mama energy that's like kind of getting at me right now. If you felt that, it's today, tonight. Sit, write, meditate, pray for real, and ask yourself, how can I love my brothers more? How can I have compassion for the ones I've been judging?
How can I honor my sisters more?
There you go. How can I honor God more? How can I honor myself more? How can I be more authentic with what I claim to be? If you don't have what you want in your life and you're not getting it, it's because you're not being authentic. In some way or another, it's not being brought to you because it's not an authentic desire, or you're not vibrating in alignment with the authentic expression that would manifest and attract that into you. So get with the program. Quit fucking complaining like a victim and empower yourself to the God within that you are.
Hey, Nikki, remember that champion who complained all the time? No, you don't. You don't. If you're complaining, you've already lost. And this is the thing. Are there things that to complain about? Sure. But complaining as an act is to try and drag others down to your vibe. And what we're meant to do when we see something that is not our favorite is to do like we said in the prayer video, to go, okay, I believe in something better coming. The fulfillment is not here yet. I trust. I accept what's here with love, knowing better is coming. And that's the process we all have to internalize. If we're still in the place of having to run around and call 72 people to complain about your personal drama, you are not a freaking light worker. You're actually working for the other side.
You're infecting people with your fear and your pain and everything else. You're spreading a mind virus. Stop that.
Yeah. And we're all forgiven for it. The fact is, most of us did this to some extent for some time before learning how to do better. This is that moment. This is when you can put that down for good now and stop being a victim and start walking towards your victory.
And that's not to say you can't complain. We all do it sometimes, but do it in a way that you're open to receive healing, and you're turning to those that you know you can trust and that have already overcome or surpassed what it is that you struggle with, or specialize what it is you're struggling in or with. Because the truth of the matter is, every time you're just complaining for the sake of complaining and just talking about it for the sake of talking about it, you're literally using what's called a mimetic vibration or mind virus. This has been scientifically proven. You are infecting people with negative energy. So stop infecting them with negative energy. Handle what you got to handle. We all face stuff in our lives. We all have rough experiences. It's just a part of life. We lose people. We experience times of illness. We experience times of fear regarding our circumstances, when things feel a little out of whack or become unstable or whatever it is. We all go through that. But what we don't have to do is infect everybody with the negativity of that. We can first and foremost go into our own faith and our own prayer. Start with yourself. Whatever is still there that you can't handle on your own, take that to a healer. Take that to those
a healer
who can support you.
To someone who knows they're signing up to hold space for you to vent some negativity, with the understanding that they're going to try and help you find your way through the problem to the solution.
Because otherwise, it's no different than if you had Ebola or, I'm not even going to say Ebola. If you had the flu and you were going around and going, I have the flu in everybody's face, It's no different. You're taking your sickness and spreading it to everybody. Stop that. Heal yourself. And what you can't heal in yourself, go to the healer. You can ask for love and light and support and prayers. And hopefully your friends will have seen our video and will send you some authentic prayers and send you some authentic light and healing energy. But take the darkest of the dark to the healers, whoever they may be.
Not to your friends, not to your family, not to your loved ones.
Not repeatedly anyway. It's okay to have confidants and allies that are supporting you and know what you're going through. We're not saying you can't talk to anybody.
No.
But what we're talking about is people that take something challenging in their life and turn it into an excuse to go on a rant looking for validation and attention from everyone, using their victimhood as a way to be seen and sympathized with. This is a bad habit a lot of people have, using tragedy and sadness and so forth. There was actually a really interesting research study done recently where through hypnosis people were cured instantly of depression when they were simply programmed through the hypnosis to simply know they would no longer receive comfort or sympathy for their depression. When their mind had heard that, I will no longer receive love and sympathy for my depression, suddenly they were no longer depressed. Why? Because it became a habit. I'm not saying that's what all depression is by any means. I understand there are other things that contribute to depression. But understand that anything, again, that you're using to gain sympathy or get attention that is negative in any way, whether it's a tragedy in your life or whatever. We've experienced tragedy in our life. We lost 2 children. That was hard. Babies dying in our arms. But you know what? We shared that with our community because they deserved to know our children, and our children deserved to have been known for the souls that they were. But what we did was we found the story that made it okay. We didn't dwell on that. We continued in our life. We stayed with ourselves and we cleaved to one another to heal each other.
We've been guided by Spirit that we should only tell a story if it has a happy ending. We should only tell a story if there's empowerment in it, or we should tell a story in the way that gives the most empowerment. And this is not just true for us. This is how we should all treat each other. Now, that said, when we need help, when we lean on each other for healing, be clear. And let me explain something. Healing is never, ever, ever, ever taking your negative rant and posting it on Facebook. Ever. Now, we have a group, and others participate in healing groups, and there are spaces where that's been, an invited thing for healing and to be shared. But generally speaking, your Facebook profile, your blast out to the world, is not your healer.
It's just spreading a mind virus of negativity and fear and pain and suffering, etc. So we can do better. We can do better, brothers and sisters. All of us, every single one of us. If you've taken anything from this video, we're grateful. If none of it resonates, hey, just move on.
If we triggered you and you don't want to heal through it, we're sorry you had to watch this whole thing of us having to lecture ourselves. I'm sorry. We needed to hear it, guys.
But just remember, your truest and most authentic expression is that source energy, is that God energy, is that love and light that we came down here to truly experience. We've had some bumps in the road together as a collective, but we can come out of it together as a collective. It's going to require everyone's cooperation. And I understand it may seem hopeless to think of how are we going to do this and get everyone to cooperate. Just trust and keep holding the vision. Know that when you're shining your light, you're illuminating many others. You're just one being, but you're illuminating the hearts and minds of many and healing them. So just have faith in yourself, faith in all of the unseen beings of light that are here helping us. Have faith in John and Nikki who are out there doing it. Have faith in others that are out there doing it. Just hold the faith and know that it's working.
Have faith in yourself just to improve. That's all any of us ever needs to do. We don't need to beat ourselves up for what's behind. We just need to keep improving. And one day at a time. That's exactly how we're going to get there. One day at a time. What can I do today?
Mm-hmm.
What can I heal today?
Absolutely. And stop relying on or waiting for anybody else to come rescue you. You are your own savior. And when you realize you are your own savior, you become a savior to many. When you inspire them to become their own savior too. Regardless of how tragic your story has been, write a new story. Regardless of the tragic story behind you, you can create that as a prologue of your life and begin chapter 1. And then they woke up and start moving forward. So there we have it.
We love you.
We love you.
We believe in you.
We believe in you. We are with you. And we are actually sending you love and light. We've actually prayed for many of you today one-on-one, but we pray for all of you every night. We love you. And we look forward to speaking with you again. As usual, you can visit our website, vowofservice.com. Vow like a wedding vow, vowofservice.com, or facebook.com/vow of service to see more of our writings and videos. And for those of you seeking counseling and coaching to rise above, you can visit starseedandjb.com. And those links will be included in the bottom. And if anybody wishes to assist us in any way with our mission, there's a link of support our cause on our website, Vow of Service. So good night, brothers and sisters. We love you, love you, love you. And we look forward to talking to you soon. And we look forward to walking through the gates of heaven on earth with you.
Source bless you.
Let's all get there. Let's all get there sooner rather than later. Okay?